I ditched my boyfriend's trip after his friends turned my bathroom break into a public spectacle, and now he's blowing up my phone acting like I'm the one who ruined the trip. Maybe I should have left him with at least my dignity. Okay, strap in because this is the most bizarre and embarrassing thing that has ever happened to me. So I, 26 female, went on a ski trip with my boyfriend, 28 male, and his friends. It's their annual trip and the first time I went. We have been together for 2 years. The group that goes is him and 5 of his friends, 4 guys and 1 girl, all in their late 20s. I have met 2 of the guys before, but the other 2 and the girl I've only met briefly over FaceTime. They knew I was coming on the trip, so they VRBO'd this house about 10 minutes from ski resort. We are a few days in for this weekly trip and everything is fine. The only problem has been the bathroom doors don't seem to lock, important for later. There had been some near embarrassing moments but nothing major. Until day 4 of 7. I'm not a huge drinker, especially around people I don't know well. I wanted to just nurse a drink while we all talked and they drank. We haven't been eating the best and have pizza before this. My stomach was bothering me, so I excused myself to the bathroom on the main floor. I should have gone in the one upstairs, but you know what they say about hindsight. So I'm on the toilet, obviously taking a poop, when the doorknob starts to move. I'm in here, but his female friend comes in anyway. I don't know if because it was me or she was too drunk to hear or care. She honestly smells what's going on and makes a big ruckus to the rest of the group that I'm pooping. I told her to please get out as calmly as I could because I was starting to get very upset. She was making a big deal over a normal bodily process. So she goes to leave the bathroom but basically throws open the bathroom door to do so. 3 of the 4 guys are there in the hallway and she's exposed me to them. Now I'm very upset and mortified. I yelled at her to get out and to shut the door behind her. They all are standing in the doorway and not listening to me. My boyfriend noticed what's going on and comes into the bathroom. I think he's going to yell at his friends, but instead, the drunk jerk just comments on how bad it smells in the bathroom. He leaves but doesn't take his friends with him. They continue to point and laugh while I'm in a vulnerable state. I think they were making potty jokes. All while I'm sat on the toilet, pants at my ankles, keeping my knees locked shut. I start screaming at this point to get the hell out of the bathroom and shut the damn door over and over. I'm actually crying at this point because I'm so mortified and I've never been in such a bizarre situation. My crying and screaming finally got the drunkard's attention. She shuts the door behind her. Now I'm breaking down in the bathroom, still crying and trying to get sorted so I can be done and wash my hands and get the hell out of this room. While washing my hands, all I can think is that my boyfriend didn't help at all. I know they're drunk, but I don't think that's much of an excuse. They've just been drinking beer and I think he'd had 4 so far. I am absolutely mortified and decide to just go into the bedroom. However, when I come out of the bathroom, still crying a bit by the way, all 6 of them start howling with laughter and pointing at me. It's like one of those crazy nightmares where everything seems more dramatic than real life should be. I just look at my boyfriend, meet his eyes and everything to show how upset I am, and they don't stop. I go upstairs to our room and pack. I can't go through 3 more days with these people, and I don't want to sleep in the same bed as my drunk boyfriend. Drunk or not, they're being incredibly disrespectful and childish. I don't think I've ever been so embarrassed. I finish packing, change my flight to the next morning, and order an Uber to go to the airport hotel. I gather all of my things and walk downstairs to get my coat and leave. They all start laughing when I come back in the room, but my boyfriend finally notices I have my bags with me. I silently put my coat on. My boyfriend yells, "Where the hell are you going?" "Airport" is all I say. Now he is yelling and they're all yelling, saying it was just in good fun and I should lighten up, have another beer, etc. No one apologizes, not even my boyfriend. He just seems so mad that I'm leaving. I tell him I'll see him in a few days and walk out to my Uber. Once I'm finally in my hotel room later, I curl up in bed and cry. I definitely did not see this being the way my trip ended. Once I flew home the next morning and got back to my apartment, I had so many texts, missed calls and voicemails from my boyfriend. They ranged from apologetic to angry to accusing, as if I did something wrong by going to the freaking bathroom. I haven't responded yet and he comes home in 2 days. I haven't even read all of the texts because it got more upset. How the heck am I supposed to face these people again? It just seems like the most bizarre and surreal experience. I think I'm more upset that my boyfriend did nothing, even when I was screaming and crying. He didn't stop me from leaving. He didn't follow me out. He just yelled at me and asked me where the hell I was going. How could he not make sure I'm okay? Even now, I was upset enough to leave, and his texts that I did read are not supportive. No apology. Basically, I put a damper on the trip. I'm dramatic. It wasn't that bad, but I made a terrible impression with his friends. What about their impression to me? Because I'm having some pretty strong thoughts right now? Right now I still have a boyfriend. That might be changing in a few days. I love him but do not like his reaction to all this. Why the heck am I getting blamed? I did not receive this type of deal breaker. Update, 4 months later. Hello fellow Reddit people. I wanted to update earlier but there's been a lot going on. So my boyfriend came home a day after I did. He called me before his flight and asked to come over to my apartment when he got back. I agreed. I needed a flipping explanation for their bizarre behavior before I could decide what to do in our relationship. He's been wonderful and respectful for 2 years, and then that? At that point, I decided I didn't want to see his friends again, They're very unimportant to me. So he gets here, I let him in and right away I see he is noticeably nervous and twitchy. He sits on my couch, I sit separately on my recliner. He blurts out, "Are we over?" "Depends on what you have to say. Unless you want it to be over?" He says no before I finish. "Okay then." So I tell him to explain what the heck happened. So, he and his genius friends took LSD and shrooms, female friend took shrooms only, the guys were a mix of both with alcohol. My boyfriend said he took LSD only. I flipped a bit. Why the heck didn't he tell me? What if one of them had a really bad reaction or trip? Shouldn't the one person who didn't take substances know they did to be able to keep them safe? I've done it and wouldn't have judged them. He knew I tried in college and had a bad time, like nightmare fuel bad. No real answer on that. It is his decision to take something like that, but I am more upset that they weren't really safe about it. That wasn't okay to admit that. He agreed that was a dumb decision. He said it's been about 6 years since they last tried it. I asked him to explain his odd behavior the next morning then. He says he and his guy friends didn't remember the reality of what happened, but, shocker I know, their female friend B did. The beach that laughed when explaining it later that afternoon. The guys were horrified. My boyfriend is rethinking friendship with her. I said I never want to see her again. Not an ultimatum, just a fact. So once he knew he was embarrassed, and didn't want to apologize over phone or text, so he came home early. He took the time to get his itinerary and thoughts sorted, he says. He asked for my side of it, I just let him read my first post, it was too hard to say. He gave me a huge hug after, apologizing between forehead and cheek kisses. We agreed to work through it. I could practically smell his relief. He thought I was done with him, and I did too before we talked and got an explanation. We set boundaries, no secrets, even if we think the other is going to be upset. Better to talk through things than have issues later. My main sticking point was I didn't want that B in our lives. The fact that she acted that way when she was mostly sober and could recant the entire thing while laughing is unacceptable. I don't know what kind of personality trait or disorder makes that possible, but I don't give a damn. She's disgusting. He understood and messaged the guys in front of me. He told them I was giving him a second chance and he explained what happened. They asked if they could FaceTime us later to apologize. We said yes, but without B. They understood and agreed. Their apologies later that night were all very sweet and genuine. My boyfriend spoke with B a few days later and then blocked her, all while beside me. These last couple of months, he has really stepped up and shown me how important I am to him and how much he loves me. We've both upheld our side of the boundary of no secrets. It's actually been awesome to just talk through any issues, feelings, etc. We were great before this bizarre incident, but things are strangely better now. I wouldn't have thought that when I wrote my first post. We're talking about moving in with one another next year. B did try to reach out several times. She was screaming that I needed to take it down. It's not like anybody has any idea who she is in real life, for F's sake, the drama. My boyfriend's friend group has all shut her out since the trip. Apparently, she's always had an excuse about why a new girlfriend of theirs didn't like her or misheard her. She's created more issues than they realized during their 14-year friendship. My boyfriend knows I have no issues with him having friends of any gender, but agrees we don't need her stereotypical female best friend behavior in our lives. I don't know if she has feelings for any of them or just likes their attention, but whatever it is, no longer my problem. I don't know if this is the update you hoped for or if you all were rooting for my boyfriend to get dumped hard, but please know I'm genuinely happy with my outcome. Thanks for taking our own crazy trip with my story and update. Had to make light of it. You all have been wonderfully sweet and supportive, it was incredibly appreciated.